Get around, children. Get around, nieces and nephews, uncles, stepmoms, and all that kind of stuff. Because your brother Mackie is about to blow you some mind with some brand new news of League of Legends from the Sheep, the biggest leakers in sports since Adrian Wojnarowski or something. We got 2 new format changes from the LEC and LCK. And I'm going to tell you something. Holy cow, there is going to be some interesting stuff next year in 2025. Now, you're asking yourself, which one should I do first? Should I do the LEC or should I do the LCK? Because I think both of them came at the same time. And I've realized that I think the LEC should be addressed first because I think the LEC has been, let's just say, neutered for the last 2 years with a lot of not too resistance, money being broke, lack of roadshows, all kinds of stuff. So I feel like the LEC is in dire straits right now. And I'm not sure this format change might help them, but I can just tell you straight up, this might make this an interesting season. So the first thing we got to talk about is pretty much simple. The shields are dead. The shields are dead. The season points are dead. Season finals, I should say. And the championship points are dead. All of them are dead. Bury them. We say bon voyage. We don't need them. It is disgusting. The championship points thing is disgusting. The season finals thing is disgusting. The whole confusion is disgusting. Everything is disgusting. So to get rid of that, all of that are gone. And we want to do and the LEC decided to model off the same thing as the LCS and saying, yeah, for every match, when the patch is going live, we're going to play on that patch. We're going to play on that patch. And like, all right, so that is interesting. So according to the Sheep Esports, other new features to be expected, starting with Riot's desire to bring competitive scene closer to the game's real environment by modeling LEC matches on the live pad whenever possible. What's more, the LEC seeks to travel directly to its fans' home soils for certain matches. In fact, for the spring split, the leagues plan to prepare a roadshow to bring the LEC to other countries. By agreeing with the concerned teams on the venue, likely for 1 or 2 matches, we can therefore probably expect an event in France and or Spain featuring the Karmine Corp and or Mad Lions Corps, although nothing has yet been officially announced and Riot could potentially try to get closer to smaller fan bases. So, hey, listen, I am up for this. I am up for this as, and I'm going to be brutally honest right now. The LEC right now is no longer the LEC of European teams competing with each other. It's more like Spain for your Mad Lions Koi, or Koi as many people call it right now. We don't know yet, but it's going to happen. You got your K-Corps who are representing France, and you got your Heretics who represent Spain, all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of like your battle of nationalism in some pride. And it's a holy war. It's a God's forsaken holy war in some of the League of Legends community. So the other complaint that many people might be saying is the lack of roadshows. We only have 1 roadshow per year, and that is toward the end of the LEC calendar year. Now, I don't know about you, but having 1 roadshow after all the hoopla and everybody else, it's not enough. It's not enough to many people. So what they're saying is that we want to put more roadshows. Not all the roadshows, but we want to put more roadshows. And we wanted to get closer to the fans. We wanted to do this in the countries that have more nationalism than probably anywhere else. So I said, for some of the fans who are watching this right now or listening to this, I feel like it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal for have the Karmine Corp Stadium having full of Karmine Corp fans and Karmine Corp is playing, or having to be played in one of those LVP arenas and have like the Mad Lions Corps in your stadium. Those kind of things. Kind of like the same thing with the LCK when T1 have their home stadium match and then lost to KT roster. But the point is that, we don't have to go like all the way like the Overwatch League done and it kind of failed. We could just like put into 1 or 2 matches and make it feel like a real event. Make these roadshow things feel like a real event. So the first positive is that the season finals is dead, the championship points are dead, and the shields are dead. And more roadshows for some home-based teams and some nationalism pride. And that is something to be behold with. So it's time for us to dissect each format. Now, in case anybody who has been sleeping under the rock, let me just break it down the format in the more Mackie style of scripting. So, first thing you have to know that the LEC will run back on January 18th. So, put that in your calendars, keep that in mind, because January 18th is going to come thick and fast. I mean, I'm recording this on the 29th of October. 29th, my goodness. October is almost over, guys, and the LEC can come quick enough. My goodness. So the winter split kickoff on the January 18th. It is the same format as the previous formats last year, in which we have 10 teams in a best of one single round robin, blah blah blah. Bottom 2 are going out. Except for one thing. Except for one addition. Fearless drafts. Oh yeah. Fearless draft is coming to the LEC. Now, here is the kicker. And this is where the pushback and the polarization comes in. We don't know what Fearless draft is to some people. We know what Fearless draft is. In case anybody don't know what Fearless draft is, it's when you play a certain champion. Let's say I play Teemo. Once you play Teemo in a certain game, you cannot play Teemo for like the rest of the series. Or you might play Teemo for one game, but you're not going to play Teemo for another game, and then you might play Teemo for another game. Now, that's where the polarization comes through, is that we don't know what kind of Fearless draft is. Is it full fearless? Is it semi-fearless? Like, we're going to get to the LCK part later. We don't know what kind of Fearless draft is. But we do know this. Whether you like it or not, Fearless draft is here, and it's probably here to stay. And I feel like the timing of the Fearless draft is so much importance right now. So let me tell you the number of champions in League of Legends, because I think there are like 134 champions right now. 169. There is 169 champions in League. Oh, by the way, there's gonna be another one. Ambrosa from the Arcane series. She's gonna be part of it. So that's 170 champions. If I learn anything from what I'm listening and all kind of stuff, the player base between that, it's so low right now. And maybe we're talking about the Western League or North America, all kind of stuff. But no player in the history of League can spend time playing 170 champions. You might be great, but some players always have to play like one-trick ponies. Like, Inspired play Fiddlesticks, or, Caps will play Silas. Those kind of signature champions they normally play because they played so many times. They don't have time to play like the Nico and the Tristana, all that kind of stuff. So the fact that Riot Games is adding champions every single time, it's making the whole thing feels like less and less about the game and more about like Pokemon, in which you have to catch them all or something. It's becoming a little bit too much too soon. It's kind of like too much of a good thing can archly harm you in the long run. And I feel like that's been the problem for League that's long. It's like, when is the buck stop at that? 170, 180, 190, maybe 200 of course? When it will end? When will it end so that we don't get overwhelmed by so many champions and have to put too much pressure on the Riot Games employees to have to patch every single champion every single time to show what is good in pro, what is not good in pro, what is good in solo queue, what is not good in solo queue, and it's a mess. It's a really big mess. So, Riot Games implemented something that has been cooking in the works for the last couple of months and years, and implemented something that will benefit the one-trickers, but also be more flexible in some cases. And that is Fearless Draft. And Fearless Draft has been bleeding in the LDL, which is the developmental league in China. And then it's been bleeding around the EU Masters. And now it's been front and center into the LPL in some cases during the last summer split, and then into now the LEC, and now into the new international tournament that we don't know what the name is, but it'll implement Fearless Draft. Now, I can understand the pushback in saying that we don't know what kind of Fearless Draft is and how this might affect the game and how this might affect, the players, and they have to adapt to all these kinds of things and they got to do this on the fly. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And I think I have something to say about it, which is pretty much, I'm all for it, but I'm not fully buy into it yet until we get more information about it. So that's my 2 cents about the Fearless Draft thing. So, where was I? Okay. Oh yeah. 10 teams, best of 1 single round format. Bottom 2 are out. Fearless Draft will be put into place. And then you got a playoff bracket double elimination in which the winner will get to participate in the new international tournament that Riot is being placed in next year. Now, Spring Split. This is where the LEC has cooked really good. Like Russell Wilson cooking last night against the Giants. Spring Split is where so much good stuff I will to tell you. So, for the last couple of years, we wanted best of 3s. And I think, Papa Smitty wanted it for the Americas League that's coming up. We don't know about the Americas League. We only have the LEC and the LCK. We don't know about the Americas League and the other leagues. But we'll get more information once we go. But I will say this. We're getting best of 3s in LEC. But Akeem, we already have best of 3s. We're going to have best of 3s in the Spring Split. Let me just read you something. From the Spring Split onwards, the league will receive a fresh new look. First of all, the regular season will feature 7 weeks of competitive with 9 best of 3s for each team, which will all meet in this format. The top 6 teams emerging from these matches will meet in the playoffs in a double elimination bracket played in best of 5, as we know it today. The 2 spring finalists will qualify for the 2025 MSI, and the winner will take home the split trophy. And there'll be no best of 1s from the Spring Split onwards. So, best of 1 in winter, cool. And then you're not gonna see best of 1s ever again. It's like, hello, I'm best of 1s. How are you guys? How are you? And then like, nope, no best of 1s, no best of 1s. Get him out of here. And then store it away for winter. It's kind of like, squirrels having nuts, You put your nuts here, you hibernate for the winter, and then you probably eat the nuts, and then you do it again for winter. So that's what I feel about best of 1s. It's like, you put best of 1s in winter, that's it, and then we move forward. So in case you haven't noticed, best of 3, single round robin, 6 teams go through, double elimination bracket, top 2 teams go to MSI, with the winner, of course. And also, by the way, as anybody mentioned, they're bringing back the long trophy back. So, good on them. I don't like the shield things. Also, there's another problem that I wanted to mention before we get to the summer split. The whole 3 split thing, it feels kind of diluted to me. So, traditionalists, like many people, focused on those 2 splits as the be and all, end all of the League of Legends for so long. Of course, now we are moving into the 3 split format, and this is what everybody wanted: more League of Legends for your buck. This is what I wanted: more League of Legends for your buck. This is what you people wanted: more League of Legends for your buck. It's great. But of course, there's a lot of pushback in saying that if G2, let's just say G2, as we all know, wins a split, did that mean that G2 wins like 14 splits in the last several years, or 15 splits? And as we saw like last year, or this year of course, Caps is like the most decorated mid laner of all with a lot of splits. Even though you can say that winning the spring and then the summer split is more important to them than rather having 3 splits in a row, all this kind of stuff. So I can just feel like having those 3 splits kind of diluted the whole feeling of it. But I also wanted to say this. For every split, it feels like a new season for them. You're gonna see more players and transfer windows coming in, focusing on each split with each tournament being important. It's like winter split. You need to do well, qualify for the international tournament. If you don't, you gotta make more changes. MSI, qualifying teams, you don't do well, save for the summer split. And now summer split, big important. So it almost feels like every split has that importance, with the international tournaments being played by Riot, of course. It feels like every split right now in the LEC has importance, which is what I feel like LEC audiences want. We want importance. Yes, the Worlds is the be-all end-all tournament, but the last few years, the MSI tournament has become the be-all end-all tournament with the double elimination format, which, if Riot Games ever do one tweak to that double elimination format, you're not going to hear the end of me. Trust me. I hope they can keep the double elimination format as it is. But the double elimination format makes the MSI better, and now it becomes a legitimate tournament. And I hope that the new international tournament will do the same. But now it puts emphasis on every single split being the most important split, not just World Championship, the most important thing. And that's not what we want as a narrative. As a League of Legends narrative, we wanted to focus on winning international tournaments and winning your splits, not just World Championships. Like, listen, I know people will flame Gen G for not winning Worlds, but I still say Gen G are a good team. They're probably one of the best teams of the year. The problem is that they're not having Worlds really tarnished their legacy pretty much. And instead of being a great team, probably the best in the world, they're just essentially a really good team, but with a lot of flaws. It's sad, I know, it's true. It's sadly true. So these splits for the LEC are probably the most important splits ever. It's not just winter, spring, and then summer like the big glow up. It's like winter, important. Spring, important. Summer, important. And the no championship points and the no season finals makes it feel like every split matters. How much does it matter to the viewership and the co-streamers? That'll be another question. But for now, we'll just leave it as it is. So, in the summer, the 10 LEC teams will be split into 2 groups. This is the pushback that I get from many people that saying the group thing is not working, but as we said, it's your choose your own flavor kind of thing. Do you want the winter split to have the best of ones and the best of threes? Or do you like the spring where you like best of threes all the way, then best of fives and do stuff? Or you like the summer when you can do 2 groups and then you do best of fives or something. It's your pick your own adventure kind of thing. If you don't like the spring format, okay, fine, don't like the spring format. If you like the winter format, don't like the winter format. And of course, 2026 is when we got like the real ironclad kind of like the format thing based on feedback and all that kind of stuff. But for now, we're into the here and now, and the here and now is saying that Summer has decided to do 2 groups of 5 teams, which is not my cup of tea, but it is what it is. At the end of this stage, the top 2 teams in each group will advance directly to the playoffs, while the last team in each group will be eliminated, which means no Worlds, no second chances, and consider that there is no championship points, there'll be no like Mad Lions fluking their way in. If you do not do well in this summer format, you ain't going to Worlds. Plain and simple. So, the 4 mid-table teams will be then mixed together to see 2 duels between teams from different groups, and finally decided on the last 2 to reach the playoffs. So, 3rd and 4th place will play, and then the 2 3rd and 4th place teams will be joined in the double elimination format, and then the final 3 teams, the last 3 teams will be allocated for Worlds. It depends on like how MSI performances go, but 3 teams will be locked in for Worlds, of course. This, of course, is huge. And also they can do in a road show, of course, in the finals, of course, for the summer finals, which, yes, summer finals, it's supposed to be the big final. It's not the season finals when we have like a Mickey Mouse LEC studio being the finals and then road show. No, summer final, road show, big final. That's what we all want, and that's what we got, and that's great. We don't know about the venue or the finals destination, but we know this. Summer finals, venue, great. And then best of 3s, best of 5, great. So, in terms of like all the things that is happening, I will say that winter is my spring is my favorite, winter is my second favorite, and summer is my third favorite. You can put down in your comments what do you think about it. And I think it's okay right now. I think this whole thing of like every split matters is important. It's like you gotta be on your toes every single split. You can't just be like, okay, we're bad in one split and then we have to ramp up for the next split. No. You can be bad in one split, but you have another split coming to trying to improve yourself. You have a second chance. And based on like the rosters that we based on the rosters that we look at, and by the way, we're looking at rosters, by the way. So I think we're looking at rosters. Yeah. So based on the rosters that we see in the LEC, it's gonna be a really interesting LEC season. Consider that last year, the problem with the LEC is not of, format changes and all that kind of stuff. The problem is, simply put, the GMing is awful. Like, I looking at the rosters for some teams, and there's a little birdie told me that G2 is gonna get Labrov, Giant X is gonna get Noah, Heretics is gonna get like Carlson and Shio, Koi is gonna get Jojo Pion from the US. Yes, Akeem, that means Jojo Pion will be the first US player to ever play the LEC. How marvelous. I don't know about Team BDS, man. I look at Team BDS roster, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. So I look at the rosters. Oh, Link has something. Nako, we don't know about this guy, but we got some unknown rookies, we got some proven players, some veterans, of course, and I hope it can bring some juice with the LEC. My problem with the LEC last season, it's not of, well, G2 wins, that means the LEC is boring. Yes, the LEC is boring because of G2. If you want to say that, put that in the comments. My problem with the LEC last year is that A, nobody can compete with G2, and B, it almost feels like the start of the season was great and then slowly dwindling down into nothingness after that. Into the point of like, why the point of watching League of Legends anymore? I feel like we're not asking anybody, can you beat G2? That's not what I want. Can you at least be good enough to compete with G2? And if you beat G2 in one of those splits, maybe it might prove me something. Maybe it might give G2 something to think about. It might give G2 something to think about, is saying, oh, our region is not as wait, this region will be easy for us. And now we're getting pushback? Because I heard a lot of G2 players and Mickey X saying that the LEC doesn't matter to them anymore. And that's sad, because I feel like the LEC matters to some people. It matters to K-Corp, it matters to Koi, it matters to so many teams. It matters to them. And to hear G2, one of the best teams in Europe, to saying that, it's just, it doesn't make sense at all. So I hope that with these new format changes, with the new players that are coming in, with the GM being a little bit better, I'm not saying all better, but a little bit better, then I just want a competitive LEC. I just want a competitive LEC. Is it too much to ask for a little bit of a competitive LEC? Not that much, not that much. But based on what I'm reading right now with the LEC format and everything, I hope that we can make the LEC be good. Just for once. Just be good. Because consider the last 2 years of the LEC not making out of Swiss, it's not looking great for them. It's not looking great for them. But Akeem, that's just the first big news about League of Legends formats. Just like Yoda in Star Wars, there's another. The LCK decided to join in the arms race. So, LCK decided that next year we will have some splits. 3 splits, of course, as everybody else, but they decided to do it a little bit unique. So, First up is the LCK Cup. I don't know what it is, but you know what? It's something. So the LCK Cup will be held in 3 stages: group battle, play-in, and play-offs. And they'll all be playing on semi-fearless draft. Unlike fearless draft at the LEC that we don't know about, this is like LCK semi-fearless draft. You can't reselect the champion that is already playing during the series. So there's that. So the group battle for the LCK Cup goes as follows. 10 teams split into 2 groups of 5. Teams selected their group composition. The top 2 teams in the 2024 season will be assigned to Group A and B. I think, Genji and Hana Life Esports, for example. And each will select an additional team from the remaining pool of 8. So it's kind of like the same thing of like the LCS lock-in from like years ago. It reminds me of the LCS locked-in from years ago, which is pretty huge. Like, players have a choice to pick their teams. And consider this is LCK and this is Korea. Entertainment. Lots of entertainment. This is going to be fun. So, selected teams will then choose the next team to join their group until each group has 5 teams. Each team will play against the 5 teams of the other group in a best-of-3 format. At the end of the matches, the group with the most wins will be designated the winners group, and the top 3 teams from this group advance directly to the playoffs, while the bottom 2 teams in the winners group and the top 4 in the losers group proceed to the play-in round. The last place team in the losers group will be eliminated from the LCK Cup. So, each team will play against the 5 teams of the other group in a best-of-3 format. So, let's just put an example. You got Genji, Breon, T1, DRX, and you got the other side with like HLE and the others. So they'll be playing 5 teams from the other group. So Genji will have to play the Hana Life Esports and the rest of the other teams from that group. So it's kind of like the little bit of cross-group format thing like we saw in the IPL. In case you haven't noticed, that's the Indian Premier League for all you cricket lovers. It's the similar format to that. And then the end of the matches, top 5 teams, winners group, bottom 5 teams, losers group, top 2 from the winners group go in, rest of them and the top 3 from the winners group goes through, bottom 2, and then top 3 from the rest of them goes through. So it's kind of like a little interesting thing and a little new wrinkle to it. Because I think like you're going to get quality good matches in the LCK. Just like we have in the LPL, you're going to get some decent quality matches. And maybe I feel like you shouldn't separate the matches to like have the big matches go in and have the bottom matches go out. But at the same time, it's kind of like you get some decently good matches in like LCK from like other groups. So it's something to look forward to. Now, the play-ins. The play-ins, guys, it's going to be huge. 6 teams of the play-in will compete in a best-of-3 2-round bracket based on their wins in the group phase, regardless of their former group. So, even if you're in one group, even if you're one group and you're doing well, it doesn't matter the group. Same thing. So it's like 2 groups of 5, and then after that, we'll separate the winners, and then we'll have like one big table to determine the teams that are in the play-ins. So that's huge. The top 2 teams will skip the first round. The winners of the second round matches qualify for the playoffs, while the losers will play a best of 5 for the final spot. So, 4th, 5th, and then 3rd, 6th will face off in the first round, and the second round is first and then second place with the winners, and then the 2 winners from those 2 round 2s will go straight through, while the losers will play in a best of 5 match to determine the finals winner. All right, cool enough. The LCK playoffs will be similar to the current format, featuring a semi-double elimination structure with all series best of 5. So it's basically the same thing, basically the same format as was the previous format from last year. Or this year, of course. I'm always saying last year. I mean, we're closer to last year than it is this year. I'm not sure. Third best team from the winners group will face the last team to qualify for the play-ins. And the first 2 teams to qualify for the play-ins will face each other in the first round of the playoffs. The winner will qualify for the first international event of the year in March. So it's basically the same thing with the LCK format. Winner goes through to the national tournament. All right, cool. So now we're getting to murky waters here. The LCK season. The LCK rounds 1 and 2. So round 1 and 2 of the LCK regular season will use a best of 3 double round robin format, where each team faces all others twice. All right, similar to the 2024 season format. So back to the old double elimination matchup with Genji beating up the crap of a free Brion or Quan on Freaks. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is. At the end of these rounds, the top 2 teams will qualify for the LCK Road to MSI tournament. Hey, look! They actually put a decent look name. The LCK Road to MSI. That feels prideful. I like that, prideful. And it's held in best of 5. The top 2 teams will compete for the direct MSI spot. So, first place, second place, winner goes to MSI. Pretty much simple. Now, with the losing team playing against the Survivor of the King and the Hill format for the second MSI ticket. 5 and 6, winner gets 4th, winner gets 3rd. It reminds me of those LCK formats like long ago, like around 2018, 2019, when it's like, you know, King of the Hill kind of stuff. Ooh, they're bringing back King of the Hill. Magnificent. Then rounds 3 and 5, based on the results on round 1 and 2, the top 10 teams are divided into 2 groups, with the top 5 forming the Legend group and the bottom 5 forming the Rise group, so similar to the LPL. I dig. Within each group, teams play a best of 3 triple round format. So we go from double round format to triple. Oh my god, you're coming to the LCS so hard. Really so hard. So it's like 5 teams in a group and they have to play like 12 matches? That's 36 best of 3s. Lord. And that's a minimum, and I think that's a minimum of like, yeah, that's a minimum of 36 best of 3s, at least. That's a lot. So at the end of the phase, the top 2 in the Legend group will qualify for the second round of the playoffs. While the 3rd and 4th seeds head into the first round. The 5th place team in the Legend group will face the top 3 teams from the Rise group in a best of 5 play-in. Top 2 from this play-in will qualify for the playoffs, which will be best of 5 in a double elimination bracket. Qualification for Worlds will be determined at the end of these playoffs, replacing the previous regional qualifiers. So, rest in peace, DRX Run 2022 from the regionals. We don't need that anymore. So, top 2 teams from the group goes through. Then we'll have like 5th place team in the Legend groups, top 3 team in the Rise group. They have to play the last 2 teams and then determine who will play in the playoffs. And then double elimination format all the way. And then we'll determine our Worlds participations. It depends on MSI and all kinds of stuff. But those are important. And by the way, a little caveat, of course. Winner of the international tournament will have that qualification for the MSI, which also directly qualify for Worlds. Kind of linked, isn't it? Really linked. So the LCK is really unique. It's really unique. With the group battle, of course, with the cross groups facing each other, all kind of stuff. The LCK double elimination format, which is the same, but it is which is fine. Actually, the round 3 will be the elimination, and then you got rounds 1 and 2, which will, of course, do a double round robin format, and with an MSI spot, and then 3 and 5. So a lot of stuff to be digested. So much stuff to digest. Really, so much stuff. So the LCK is gonna be a single split divided into multiple rounds. Rounds 1 and 2 before MSI, and then followed by round 3 and 4 and 5 afterward. So LCK Cup, and then we do the traditional rounds, of course. I'm not sure. The LCK will be fearless draft, and then the rest of them will be like, regular drafts. So okay, that's a little interesting. So I think the LCK is going to have a lot of stuff going on next week. It's going to be a mind brain for so many teams. We don't know about the LCK is going to have to crown like one champion, I heard. So it's going to be like one singular champion for the entire format, which is going to be unique. So I have to say that this is something to really wrap your head around. But as we get closer to, we don't know. By the way, they don't have a date for the LCK